Ever driven past a massive industrial plant and wondered how they keep everything from overheating? Well, a lot of it comes down to these giants, industrial cooling towers. In this explainer, we're going to break down everything you need to know about them, from the absolute basics to some pretty advanced optimization tricks. Let's dive right in. So here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the basics of what these towers are and why they matter. Then we'll take a look at the key components inside. After that, we'll get into the real heart of the system, choosing your fill media. Then we'll tackle the common problems that can pop up. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a solid guide to maintenance and optimization. All right, let's start at square one. What are these things really, and why are they so incredibly important in so many industries? Think about it. From the power plants that keep our lights on to the data centers that run pretty much the entire internet, they all generate a mind-boggling amount of heat. Cooling towers are the workhorses that get rid of that heat. They are, no joke, essential for keeping our modern world up and running. Now, to pull this off, these towers use a staggering amount of water. We're talking up to 40% of a typical commercial building's entire water usage. That's a huge operational cost, right? And it has a big environmental footprint, which is exactly why making them efficient is the name of the game. The science behind it all is actually pretty elegant. It's called evaporative cooling. It's the exact same reason you feel a chill when you hop out of a swimming pool on a breezy day. See, it takes a whole lot of energy for water to turn from a liquid into a gas. That energy, in the form of heat, gets pulled directly out of the water that's left behind, making it significantly cooler. So here's how that cycle looks in a plant. You have hot water coming from some industrial process, right? It gets pumped into the tower. The tower's whole job is to cool that water down as efficiently as possible before sending it right back to do its job all over again. It's this critical, non-stop loop. Okay, to really talk about performance, you need to know two key terms, range and approach. Range is super simple. It's just the temperature drop. You measure the hot water going in, the cold water coming out. That difference is the range. But approach is the real measure of efficiency. It's the difference between your cold water temperature and the air's wet bulb temperature. Now, the wet bulb temp is basically the lowest possible temperature you can reach just by evaporating water. So a smaller, tighter approach means your tower is kicking butt. All right, now that we've got the basics down, let's pop the hood and see what actually makes these towers tick. So let's walk through the whole process. Hot water comes in at the top and gets spread out over something called film media. At the very same time, a massive fan is pulling air through that fill. This forces evaporation to happen like crazy, which rapidly cools the water. The nice cool water collects in a basin at the bottom, ready to go back to work. And right at the top, drift eliminators catch any water drop that's trying to escape, which helps save water. You remember that film media I just mentioned? Well, get ready, because it is the single most important component for your tower's efficiency. Let's really dig into this. Get this. Up to 60% of your tower's entire thermal performance comes down to the film media. That's huge. It means that picking the right kind and keeping it in perfect shape is absolutely non-negotiable if you care about efficiency. You really have two main choices here, splash fills and film fills. Think of splash fills as the rugged, off-road option. They're built to handle dirtier water with lots of solids without getting clogged. Film fills, on the other hand, are like high-performance race cars. They spread the water into a super thin film to maximize the surface area and get the best possible cooling. But, and this is a big but, they demand pristine, clean water. If they get clogged, your efficiency just dies. Okay, so even the best designed tower is going to run into trouble. Let's talk about the three biggest enemies of your cooling tower's performance. First on the list, we have scale. As all that water evaporates, it leaves behind minerals like calcium carbonate. And this stuff forms a rock-hard layer inside your pipes. It's like cholesterol for your system. It insulates the very surfaces you need to transfer heat, and it forces your pumps to work way harder, which absolutely destroys your efficiency. Next up is corrosion. This is the silent killer. It literally eats away at the metal in your system. This leads to leaks, equipment failures that can be catastrophic, and a much, much shorter lifespan for some very expensive gear. And finally, there's biological growth. The inside of a cooling tower is warm, it's wet. It's a perfect breeding ground for algae, slime, and all sorts of bacteria, including the dangerous Legionella, which causes Legionnaire's disease. This biofouling doesn't just clog up your system, it's a very serious health risk. Hey, real quick, if you're finding this guide useful, maybe recognizing some of these issues yourself, do us a quick favor and hit that like button. We'd also really love to hear about the specific challenges you're facing with your own cooling towers, so drop us a comment below.
All right, we've seen the problems. Now let's talk about the solutions. This is your playbook for keeping that cooling tower running in absolute peak condition.
Being proactive with maintenance is your #1 defense. This checklist covers the essentials. For instance, cleaning your spray nozzles isn't just about cleaning, it's about making sure the water is spread evenly over the fill, which is totally critical for performance. And optimizing your blowdown rate, that's a constant balancing act between keeping mineral buildup in check and not wasting a ton of water and expensive chemicals. Now, water treatment is your other major line of defense. We fight scale with things like acid treatments and water softeners. We go after corrosion with specialized chemical inhibitors that basically form a protective shield on the metal. And we take on biological growth with a 1-2 punch of different biocides. It's really all about using the right tool for the job. The great news is you don't have to fly blind on any of this. Modern monitoring systems give you real-time data on everything: conductivity, pH, corrosion rates. This lets you automate your chemical feeds and your blowdown to really dial in performance. Trust me, the investment pays for itself in water savings, energy efficiency, and preventing incredibly expensive downtime. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. Is your maintenance strategy truly proactive, or are you just running around putting out fires? Are you really unlocking your cooling tower's full potential, or is there untapped efficiency and reliability just waiting to be found? We really hope this guide has armed you with the knowledge you need to get the absolute most out of your cooling tower. Just remember, proactive maintenance and smart water treatment are your keys to success. For more expert guides on industrial systems just like this one, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.